Okay, let's go.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel, Probation Officer's Perspective. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Hit that notification bell to all, so you'll be notified of all the new content that I'm pushing. With that, I'd like to thank everybody for their support. And today, sad news. I don't like covering like these stories, but I feel like it needs. I know if you haven't already seen it on the news, I have some other sources that I can add to it, but it's regarding the school shooting in Northern California in Palermo, I believe it is, and it's right next to Oroville, California. And my younger kids' mother, that was where she was born and raised, just right there. I lived in Chico for a minute, and my mom was and brother lived in Yuba City, close to there. But she lived about, I don't know, right on the other side of Oroville, in Paradise, where they had the campfire that burned down. Anyways, I don't like covering these type of stories, but I feel like I like to get this information out. It was an active school shooting with 2 victims, children, and I do have an update on one of the victims. But we're going to go ahead. We're going to watch. I'm going to play you the what the news media said, and then we'll get into all the other stuff there. So let me make myself smaller here. All right. And then we're going to watch this real quick. This is the news, and then we'll get into the rest of it. Sad day, sad situation. Anytime there's children involved, and my heart goes out to all the kids, the victims families. They're children, man. They're kids, and my heart just sinks. You know, I have kids. I couldn't imagine dealing with this situation at my kids' school. So it's an eye-opener for sure. But my heart goes out, my condolences. You know, I know the 2 children that were injured are in the hospital. I have an update information on one of the victims that I will share after we get through this video, because the source that I had, the other source that I found, was a pretty much play-by-play with the scanner that somebody posted. All right, so let's watch this and let's go along.
That breaking news out of Butte County tonight, where the sheriff's office has confirmed that 2 kindergarten students, 5 and 6 years old, were injured in a shooting that happened right there on campus. Life Copter 3 was over the school in the Palermo area, and the sheriff now says that this was targeted due to the school's affiliation with the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Our crews have been gathering information at the school as well as the church in Oroville, where worried parents picked up their children. The sheriff says after the attack, the gunman shot and killed himself. They found his body right on the school playground.
Yeah, the sheriff says that the man arrived on campus under the guise of enrolling a child. He was dropped off there by a car. They think it might have been a ride share. The calls coming from Feather River School of Seventh-day Adventist in between Palermo and Oroville. That school serves about 35 students at a K-8 school. The first calls came into the sheriff's office about 1 o'clock today. Deputies who got there to the scene found the gunman already dead, and those 2 boys, again, just 5 and 6 years old, they were hit by gunfire. They were injured. Their conditions have not yet been released. The sheriff says the gunman met with the principal asking about enrolling a child just before the shooting.
This individual came onto campus to meet with the principal to discuss the possibility of enrolling a student. We haven't verified that that is a legitimate statement at this point. Shortly after concluding that meeting, the principal heard shots being fired, heard screams, and that's when they determined or found that the 2 students had been shot.
And once it was safe to move the children off campus, we are told that they went to the gym and they were eventually bused to the Oroville Church of the Nazarene a few miles north. Parents were sent to the church to pick up their children. The sheriff says that he sent Oroville and Chico police to other Seventh-day Adventist schools just for added protection. And so far, they have found no other threats.
We have live team coverage of the shooting from the shooting scene to the reunification center. We start with KCRA 3's Danica Hill. She's been outside the school for hours now. Danica, what have you been able to learn there?
Yeah, Edie, as you mentioned, we've been out here for quite some time. The first calls came in around 1 o'clock. I think we got here around 3 o'clock. In that time frame, we saw a lot of parents trying to make their way here to the scene. Right now, we are standing on Highway 70. We flipped around probably from the last time that you've seen us. We're now facing I'm facing southbound, and this is the northbound direction. And so police are still blocking this area off right now at this time. I want you to take a look at some of the video from Live Copter 3, though, that our crews were able to capture throughout the day. This very active scene, very active situation that transpired around 1 o'clock this afternoon. You guys kind of ran through all the information that we learned here on the scene from Butte County Sheriff Honey, but also in that, so mentioned in the press conference today that vehicle that dropped him off was likely a rideshare or some sort of situation there where he was just dropped off at the scene. Sheriffs say they want to speak with that person. If you are that person or know somebody who may have dropped this man off at this scene here, they want to speak with you. The other thing that we've been telling you guys is just how traumatic this is for students, for kids here. I did ask Sheriff Honey how many shots rang off before something happened, before these kids were eventually brought to safety, and at this time he's not able to tell us that. He did tell us that there was a handgun involved in this. Again, no word on how many gunshots went off, but we do know that they are working to piece this all together. I asked Sheriff Honey how long they're going to have Highway 70 blocked off, and he said just as long as they need to gather these pieces together. They're just thanking the community and thanking those for listening and watching us and avoiding this area as well. We're going to stay out here and continue to gather as much information and try to piece together the details ourselves. But again, a lot of questions surrounding exactly what happened here. The other thing that I did want to mention, you guys both brought up the meeting with the principal. I asked Sheriff Honey, did they make that meeting today and this man just walked up here and all of this happened? He said no. Actually, this man made that meeting, set the meeting under the guise of wanting to meet with the principal to enroll a child. They set that up days ago, and then this transpired today. Not exactly clear what happened in between there, if there was some sort of issue that led to this, but yeah, so that's another detail that came out of there, is that this meeting was set up days in advance and then ended with a shooting here on campus. Here in Butte County, Danica Hill, KCRA 3 News.
Yeah, and we're still waiting to hear about the identity of this suspect. Sheriff says they think they know who this person is. They're still trying to reach next of kin. Danica, thanks for walking us through that portion of the story. And we want to show you the road closure here. Highway 70 closed to northbound traffic at Gridley Road. Traffic there being diverted west to Highway 99 right now. Southbound traffic on Highway 70 is closed at Powerhouse Hill Road. And we can actually show you this, a live look at the traffic right now as far as how it looks on our traffic map, so you can see where the closure is. So just be aware of that if you're traveling anywhere through that part of Butte County right now.
All right, let's get now to KCRA 3's Maricela de la Cruz. She talked to families at the church where parents picked up their kids. So Maricela, what's happening there now?
Yeah, we're outside the Church of Nazarene. The area has been cleared out. It cleared out at around 4:45 today, but this is the area where families were coming to reunite with children. Those children from that school were brought up to this church, and so we saw parents, siblings, aunts, uncles, grandparents, all showing up as families were coming to pick up their children. We know this is a school for K to 8th grade, so we did see a lot of those families coming to get their children. We heard also from one of those children at that school, a sixth grader, Jocelyn Orlando, and her parents. Heard some gunshots?
I did. I also saw the shooter go across a window, like pacing back and forth, and then we were running to the gym. I looked back and I saw a shadow with a gun, so I told most people to run even faster.
That is a private school in its entirety. Is the presumption is that it's the safest place a parent could send their child.
What do you think? And so a very terrifying situation for parents and children. This is the area where those children were brought and where resources, food, different services were offered to the children and also to their families. We know that a few of them went in there, took a while in there before coming out. I did ask one of the Butte County employees out here just before they left if they were planning on coming back tomorrow or any other days. They said they were still unsure about those resources being offered at this site over the next few days. But of course, we're going to go ahead and keep you updated as more information comes up. For now, we are live. Marisela de la Cruz, KCRA 3 News.
Marisela, thank you. We should note that we are standing by for a news conference coming up at 6:30 at the sheriff's office.
Hopefully learn a little bit more information about how this and why this unfolded. Governor Gavin Newsom's office responding, sending out a statement today. It says, we are actively monitoring the shooting in Oroville. The state is coordinating with local officials and state law enforcement. They're on the ground and assisting local law enforcement. The governor's statement goes on to say, our hearts go out to the Oroville community and the students, school staff, and families impacted by this horrific act of gun violence. We're also continuing to follow the
All right. So that first journalist, I did not like her. That was at the scene. She just didn't have any emotion, really didn't seem like she was, I don't even know. I didn't like her. It's a sad situation for everybody involved. Like I said, I know that area very well. My youngest kid's grandfather, he lives right there. His business is in Chico. Like I said, their mother, she grew up right on the other side of Oroville, and she actually went and graduated from a Seventh-day Adventist high school. But I can't imagine. I know that has nothing to do with it, but I just wanted to put that in there. But couldn't imagine the kids. I mean, being terrified, seeing this unfold, and then 2 5 and a 6-year-old being shot, and then the guy just takes his own life afterwards. But and all the children that were there, the staff, and just everybody that's involved, and the parents, man, I just couldn't imagine dealing with that with my own, like if something like that happened at my kids' school. Oh man, my nerves, because you just don't know. But those kids are traumatized. I mean, of everything that happened. It's sad. All right, let's get on to what I wanted to do next, which is this is a kind of a play-by-play, if you will, and it is by Carla K. Larson. Don't know who that is, but did a real good job of it's a group there. Butte County Fires, Accidents, and Crimes in Butte County. So, but let's get going. 2 boys, ages 5 and 6, shot at Feather River Adventist School. Shooter dead from self-inflicted gunshot wound. BCFAC News, 12/4/2024. Palermo, Butte County, California. A tragic incident occurred at Feather River Adventist, a private religious school in Palermo, California on Wednesday afternoon. A gunman opened fire on the campus, shooting the two male kindergartners ages 5 and 6 before fatally shooting himself. Here, in incident details, the shooting took place at the school located at the corner of Cox Lane and Highway 70 in rural Butte County, south of Orville. The two young victims were transported to two local hospitals, one by air ambulance and the other by ground ambulance. Their conditions and identities remain unknown at this time. Upon arrival, deputies from the Butte County Sheriff's Office found the suspected shooter deceased from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The students were immediately escorted to the school auditorium and placed on lockdown while the area was searched by ground and air units to ensure there were no other shooters in the vicinity. Investigation and response. The Butte County Sheriff's Office, assisted by the FBI, is investigating the incident. The sheriff revealed that the shooter had scheduled a meeting with the principal to discuss enrolling a child in the school, which took place before the shooting occurred. The students were later bused to the Church of Nazarene in Oroville, where parents and guardians were reunited with their children. School information. Feather River Adventist School is a private elementary school operated by the Seventh-day Adventist Church with only 33 students enrolled as of 2022. Under the supervision of 5 teachers, the school has been teaching children in the same building since 1965 and advertises itself as providing a spiritually oriented education for children. Ongoing investigation. The motive behind the shooting is still unclear, and the shooter's identity has not been released. The investigation is ongoing, with the Butte County Sheriff's Office and FBI working together to determine the circumstances surrounding the incident. And of course, as you've seen the sheriff in that news clip that we watched, there is another one, an updated one I just watched. It was about an hour ago. But there was really no information different. It was just in a different setting, in his setting where he's talking. There really wasn't any change in any of the facts to the shooting, because they're not giving out any of the information of the shooter yet, or they didn't give any updates on the of the victims or their families. So previously, shots fired, Palermo, 12/4/2024 at 1:09 p.m. via BCFAC via scanner. Shots fired at Feather River Adventist, 27 Cox Lane. Cal Fire and medics are staging well out the area until deputies determine it is safe for them to enter. Sheriff Honea was confirmed 2 children were shot and the shooter is dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Children were taken to the hospital. Their conditions are unknown. I do have an update on one of the children. Details from the scanner. 2:03 p.m. School buses are en route to pick up the children. 2 p.m. Getting ready to shut down traffic on Lone Tree and Cox to stop traffic to Highway 70 southbound. They also mentioned Powerhouse Hill Road and Highway 70. 1:57 p.m. Bullets is our 9mm. 1:46 p.m. H24 circled around the school and is heading to second location. It will then return to the school to fly over the orchards and the adjacent areas to make sure there is nobody else on foot on Cox Lane. At 1:41 p.m., Enlow Flight Care on the ground. Parents are instructed to meet at Orville Church of Nazarene, located at 2238 Monta Vista Avenue, Orville. Parents are asked to respond to the church to be reunified with their children. At 1:28 p.m., the shooter shot himself, per the CHP. At 1:31 p.m., Reach 6 is responding as a second air ambulance. 1:32, Enlow Flight Care. ETA is 1:41 to the school. 1:26 p.m., canceling the second air ambulance, transporting one code 3 to ride out. Which is the one it was riding in the ambulance. The other was life flighted. At 1:23, two air medics on order. 1:20 p.m., the Butte County Sheriff's Office scene secure. Continue in. CHP helicopter H20 is en route. Air ambulance on order. They mentioned 2 children. Landing zone will be at the back of the school. At 1:18, someone is gathering the children into the cafeteria. They mentioned 2 children. I don't know if there are 2 victims or why they were mentioned. And then there is some photos, which I'm going to show the photos here. I wanted to do an update on the victim. This was posted by his grandmother, Debbie Wolford. Please pray for our 5-year-old grandson, Elias. Sorry if I got that wrong. He was just shot this afternoon in the Feather River school shooting. From what we are hearing, he was airlifted to the hospital. This was earlier because he was shot twice by a 9mm, once in the kidney and in the chest, and had lost a lot of blood. He is in surgery now. And then the prayers and hearts. Here's the update that was posted. Elias is out of surgery. They are stopping by CT and going to pick you. I guess the bullet went through his lung, through his stomach, clipped a bit of the pancreas. So they did an X-slap where they just opened his whole abdomen cavity to search, and has a chest tube. They may have to go back in later, but he's going to pick you now. So let's pray for this young man and the 6-year-old. I don't have any information, but let's pray for these children. Let's pray for Elias and the other child that was shot in this horrific incident by sick people that are sick. But my prayers go out to Elias and the 6-year-old victim, and I hope that they pull through and everything will be okay. And then I just have some images, which we saw some of the images of the school. These were images that were in that blocking off the school, blocking off the road to the school. Just another with the EMS, fire department at the scene. That's just an aerial of I didn't even know I had that one, but let's go. That's an aerial of it. There's Cox Lane, there's 70, and there's the front of the school, and then there's the playground. And then here's the images of the shooter. Right by the playground there. There he is laying there. And then there's the second one, picture of the shooter. I want to know where. All right, let me make myself bigger. They knew, I don't know, they didn't explain how they knew he was dropped off by a gray vehicle, if somebody saw it, or if it was actually if they have cameras there. Because if they do, they need to find that. I know it's early on right now, but right now is the time for them to get, and they've got a lot of law enforcement on this right now, lots. But being that this was at 1 p.m., and this gray vehicle dropped him off, don't know if it was involved or not, but I would have thought by now they would have found this gray vehicle. Again, they talk about the gray vehicle, so I don't know if somebody just saw the gray vehicle and saw him get out of the car, or if they actually have video footage of the vehicle. And then that would tell a lot as far as maybe they got a license plate number with the camera, the driver's, identity, anything. But that's all I got for you right now. They are, I think he said it was either 1 p.m. tomorrow. The sheriff's going to do another press conference. Like I said, I have the other press conference I was going to put on, but it's 30 minutes long, and it's pretty much covering what I just covered with the news. He did that briefing. He doesn't give out any other information as of right now. No name, no nothing about the firearm used, other than there was a firearm in somewhere in there. Like I said, that source that I got from that group, because again, I got well, it's not it's family to me. Live in that area. It's my kids' grandpa, grandma. They have family there that live right there on the other side of Orville. Sorry. And, but just a very sad situation. Again, my heart goes out to all the families, especially the two victims, a 5 and 6 year old. I'm going to be praying. Everybody, say a prayer for these children that they pull through and everything's okay. And for all the children that saw that, they're just going to be traumatized from that. And I don't know what else to say. I covered it so that people could see it. I don't care about the views or any of that stuff. This is breaking news. This is close to home, not for me, but for family that we have. And it's just a very sad situation. And I felt like I needed to cover it. And the fact that families sending me this Facebook information because they're in these groups helped me break it down, like the time frames with the scanner. If it wasn't for them sending me that information, and I wouldn't have known. I would have just went with the news story and what was there, and that would have been it. And then the grandmother, they gave the update. First, she put the initial story, of her grandson, and then the second one was, the update on her grandson. And so let's all get together and say some prayers and hope everybody's okay, and I hope these children pull through and everybody gets some whatever help that is needed, that the government steps up to the plate and gives whatever these families need, and the faculty or the staff, and I hope they do that. I hope they do the right thing. Their little spiel there from Governor Newsom is not too heartwarming to me. He ain't saying anything that's not already been said. You know, the law enforcement that's already there. You know what I mean? The local law enforcement from all around Orville and Chico police, and then the Butte County Sheriff's Department. So the governor's saying, "Oh yeah, we're giving all the resources are on the ground," and well, yeah, that's their job. They're there. I mean, they were there right away. You know. Anyways, guys, that's all I got for you. Sad news. I don't like doing these videos, but hey, it needs to be put out there. And as soon as I get more updates, I will update you. Again, the sheriff's going to do another press interview where hopefully he gives some background on this shooter, and what, just some type of information that's other than it's ongoing and they don't know anything. You know what I mean? The not know. I always say this to everybody, and I say it on some of my videos. The not knowing is the worst. You know, the not knowing is the worst. And I pray that these two children that were shot, you know, they have some really good updates tomorrow for them. And if I get any more from the family sent to me, I will post it right away. So with that, you guys all have a great evening, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.